Let's discuss now with CNN national security analyst and former director of national intelligence, James Clapper. Director, thanks so much for being with us as always. We appreciate it. Just your reaction to the decision to wait to shoot this balloon down after it reached the Atlantic as opposed to earlier in the week. What's your sense of how all of this went down?
I think it was the right thing to do. I think there's a balance drawn here by affirming our sovereignty and at the same time protecting the safety of people below. I can imagine the reaction if the balloon had been shot down over a red state and somebody got killed or hurt, or there's extensive property damage, and the outrage that would result from that. So to me, this was the best of both worlds. It was, as I understand it, done within our territorial waters, and obviously no jeopardy to anyone on the ground. So to me, it was the right thing to do. I think in the end, this will afford us some diplomatic leverage with the Chinese.
Well, that leads me to my next question, which is what do you think the Chinese were up to here? Because obviously they had to assume we were going to see this thing in the sky and this was going to be detected. Does that tell us a little bit about what their motivations might have been?
You know, Jim, to me, this is the mystery as to why exactly they did this. And that's why I have a tendency to accept the explanation that this was, went astray. I don't buy what they're saying was on it in the way of sensors. That's why this is going to be very good to recover the payload from the balloon and find out what kind of sensors it had on it. As others have already discussed, the Chinese have a very capable overhead reconnaissance satellite system that can collect all kinds of imagery intelligence, probably better than with a balloon. Now, the issue for me is what other kinds of sensor or other phenomenology that this balloon was trying to collect. And hopefully we'll learn that by exploiting the payload.
Because the balloon might not have been just taking pictures, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. If it was just taking pictures, then I really don't understand it because as I say, the Chinese overhead reconnaissance satellites can do every bit what that balloon could do and more. Now, if it was somehow intercepting radiation, non-literal communications, literal communications, I don't know, and we'll learn that. But it just seems to me strange that the Chinese would intentionally do this, particularly at this particular time.
And the balloon, we're told, will be analyzed once it's retrieved at an FBI lab in Quantico. How critical is it at this point for Navy divers, assets there in the Atlantic right now retrieving this? How critical is it for them to get that piece of equipment out of the water? Well,
it's pretty critical because obviously I doubt it was designed to survive in a wet environment. That's not the environment it was operating in. So the quicker the divers can get to it and retrieve it, the better. And I don't know the depth of the water where it actually fell. That'll be another challenge depending on how deep the water is. But the quicker the better.
And you were director of national intelligence. Maybe you can answer this question. Is this unusual to have spy balloons flying over continental United States?
Yes, I don't recall an instance of it during my time as DNI for 6.5 years. I don't recollect this. I will tell you, Jim, I've had some personal experience with using balloons as intelligence collector, particularly for imagery, and they're really not very efficient for that purpose. That's why I'm a little skeptical about imagery. They're so subject to the vagaries of weather, mist, fog, rain, and especially, as we've seen in this case, wind. They're hard to control. So I'm very interested to learn, if we can publicly, just what sort of sensor suite was in the payload of the balloon.
And do we have the technical capabilities, do you think, to already know what this balloon was doing, what the surveillance equipment was doing? Could they have gotten an up close look at it before it was shot down to know exactly what this thing is?
I'll just say that's possible. I don't know, either through direct observation or indirect collection from some other source. So it's possible, but I'm just speculating here.
Yeah. One of the interesting things that our Oren Lieberman was reporting earlier this afternoon is that the U.S. says it was able to prevent the balloon from gaining some intelligence, that they were able to do some mitigation efforts. It sounded as though they were talking about, I guess, jamming the balloon to some extent. What did you make of that? What do you think about that?
Well, one thing I've wondered about is if it had some sort of communications relay system, either to satellites or some other terrestrial downlink that we somehow got access to. I don't know. And if that were the case, well, certainly they could jam that and prevent the transmission, either guidance to the balloon if it had that, or some sensor or sensors on the balloon and interfere with that. So that it's quite conceivable.
And one of the questions that I think is floating around that is highly intriguing is, what does this say about Chinese espionage efforts in the United States? It looks like they were doing some over the United States, but what does it say about Chinese espionage efforts inside the United States and how extensive they are? Because I imagine, the American people might surmise that it's going on and that it is extensive, but how extensive is it?
Well, it's a great question, Jim, because what is so significant and dramatic about this is it's very visible. The Chinese have reconnaissance satellites, both signal intelligence collectors and imagery intelligence collectors, that are traversing over the United States every day, collecting reams of intelligence. They have very aggressive intellectual property attacks on us. So they are very aggressive about this. Having said all that, this to me is sort of ham-handed to do this as an intelligence collection effort when they have so many other ways of gaining intelligence on the United States that is not nearly as visible and dramatic as this. And this is what's drawn so much attention to this. We're concerned about our sovereignty. Well, how high does sovereignty go? So we're going to shoot down the balloon because it's an affront to our sovereignty. Well, the satellites, I guess you could argue, are an affront to our sovereignty as well, and we're not about to shoot them down.
No, that's right. All right, former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, always a pleasure to speak with you, sir. Thanks so much for your insights. We gained a lot of knowledge in this segment, so thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.